Welcome to Aligned AF, real talk for evolving souls with Yahweh Kent. Join Yahweh for honest conversations on spiritual growth, the messiness of life, and how to move through it all at a higher frequency. So grab a cup of tea and let's sail in. This is Aligned AF, and here's Yahweh.
Hey everybody, it's Yahweh. How are you? Welcome to Aligned AF, Real Talk for the Evolving Soul. Today we're going to dive into a truth that hits close to home for a lot of us. It's that moment when comfort stops being a gift and starts becoming a prison. Today's episode is titled Stuck in the Soft Spot When Comfort Becomes a Cage. So what do I mean by that? How many of you, and you can raise your hands unless you're driving, have ever felt like life is fine on the outside? Everything's good, everything's going along fairly smoothly, but something inside you is just screaming for movement, screaming to get out. You're just aching for something more, and you're not necessarily sure what it is, or you're more likely avoiding moving forward on something because everything's really comfortable right now. And that's what I wanted to talk about, because I'm in one of those spaces, and my podcast is kind of what helps me get out of it. And if I'm in it, I'm sure that there's a lot of you out there that either are in it or have experienced it. So I wanted to talk about that today. All right, so let's get started. First of all, let's talk about what exactly that comfort zone is. Now, I've got some notes here. Those of you that are listening aren't going to see me check my paper, but those of you that are watching on YouTube, this is part of the deal, okay? The comfort zone. I'm in one of those right now. For those that listened to my previous episode, you know that I had a really bad bout of COVID several weeks ago. The whole family got it, and I was taking care of them, and I thought I avoided it, but it hit me after everybody else was feeling better. It hit me, and it hit me really hard, and I was pretty much useless for several days. And then around the time that you normally start to feel better, I wasn't really feeling better. I was exhausted all the time. I was coughing constantly. It was just too much, and I became very saddened by it. I became very lethargic. I wasn't motivated to do anything. I missed my podcast for an entire month. And it was a tough one. It was a tough one to get through. So since then, I've found myself, and this is kind of a reality check that I had this morning. I've found myself having these ideas of what I want to accomplish and what I want to do to get moving again. And then finding myself on the couch watching an episode of MasterChef, or getting hooked on The Rookie with Nathan Fillion. I found myself just choosing to do nothing. I mean, I still got my son to school. I still took care of him. I still, got my family dinner, still, cleaned up around the house, did laundry, things like that. But I was really just kind of going through the motions of everyday stuff, because all of that stuff is what I do every single week. And it was a comfort zone. So that stuff was easy, but I wasn't doing anything else. So, excuse me, my wife is pretty much the exact opposite of that. She's always looking to move forward, especially spiritually. And she's really motivated to move forward on this new project she's working on. She really, sees it as a calling, and almost like she doesn't have a choice, even though she knows she does. And so part of that was looking for sacred ground, looking for a sacred space to anchor in the new energy that she's doing. And I'm not going to get into her whole thing there because I'll have her on as a guest and she can really explain it far better than I could. But part of that was finding a space. Now, she took a trip to Sedona, which is the trip that she got COVID, so the rest of us got it. And then she also started feeling drawn towards Oregon, particularly Ashland, Oregon, which is, at the time, I had never been there. I'd never been to Oregon at all, and neither had she. But we were told that it was an amazing place. It was a spiritual place. It was a wonderful little town. And that it's literally like an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 40 minutes from Mount Shasta, which, for those of you in the spiritual community, know that's a pretty intense energy there. So what we did was we planned a trip. We planned a family trip. Little man, Orion, had never been on a plane before, so he was really excited about that. And we took him out of school for a few days, and her mom came along with us to, in part, take the trip, in part, spend some time with Orion as well, and to just kind of check things out too. So we took the trip. We flew to Oregon. We got a beautiful little Airbnb in the mountains in Ashland, right around 3,900 feet, which is kind of the extent of what I can handle for altitude without being really lightheaded or passing out. I certainly can't exert myself at that level. It's the whole one lung thing. And for those of you that don't know about that, we'll save that for another episode too. But we found this beautiful place where it was just in the woods. Deer were coming up on our porch, walking by the driveway while we were outside. It was just gorgeous. It was beautiful. And Ashland is an amazing little town. I fell in love with that town. It was gorgeous. It was hippie. It was filled with wonderful food and metaphysical shops and bookstores and a beautiful downtown, and everybody seemed to be friendly. People said hi to you walking by, nodded and smiled. I sat in the town center, just sitting on a bench for a couple of hours, and it was just beautiful. It was amazing. Beautiful parks. I mean, it was really great. And we did get out to Mount Shasta, which was just a truly amazing feeling. The energy there is incredible. But anyways, we came home, and I wanted to bring as much of that energy with me as I could, because while I was there, I felt good. I was happy. I was spending more time joking around with my son and just smiling, which, I had not done in a very long time for any number of reasons. And my wife noticed it. My mother-in-law noticed it. My son even noticed it. He even said to me, he says, "You've been so happy on this trip. I have loved hanging out with you." And that just filled my heart. And so I wanted to bring that energy back with me. And I found that when I got back, I was good for a couple of days. And then I kind of started dragging ass into the old energy again. And I was like, inside, I'm screaming, no, 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 don't do this to yourself. This is not where you want to be. And in my body, I was sitting my ass down on the couch and watching TV, still doing my routine stuff. But, and I found that, as I spent some time with that whole idea this morning, I realized that I was stuck in the soft spot. I was in a comfort zone that had become a cage. And so I wanted to do an episode about that, hopefully for my own healing, as well as maybe touching one or two of you out there. I mean, if something I say or one of my experiences that I share reaches one person and helps them kind of, make a move, even one step, this whole podcast thing is worth it. I'm obviously not doing it for the money. It's really just about being able to speak and be able to help people if I can. So here I am in my comfortable cage, not making any steps at all to move forward, to regain that energy that I had when I was in Oregon. And I was reminded that comfort is okay. It's meant to be a place to rest, not a place to retire. Now that rings true very loudly for me because I'm 63 years old and I'm retired and, really just kind of a stay-at-home dad. And when I say just, I don't mean that's all I am, because that's not all I am. And there's very little that's more important than that. But it's a place to rest. It's not a place to stay. It's comfort is a place for you when the chaos has been so much that you need a break. And the key there, the trick there is to not get so used to it that that's all you want to do. That you end up saying to yourself that, well, this is easier. I know this. I don't have to take any steps. I don't have to expend any extra energy. And everybody's fine. We're doing our thing and everybody's eating and there's plenty of food in the fridge. And I get Ryan to and from everything that he needs to get to. Excuse me. And so why isn't that okay? But I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything extra. Now, part of us going out to Oregon was to check it out and see if it was maybe someplace that we'd like to be. And the truth is, it is. So we are literally beginning to plan moving to Oregon. It's going to be a year or more, but we're going to do it smart. We're going to do it as affordable as possible. And, but we're going to do it because my wife grew up here in the Kansas City area and she's over it. She's, I'm grateful for it because I grew up in Massachusetts, and when I moved out here 10 years ago to change my life, I had no idea how much my life was going to change. I had 2 divorces and 3 boys that had grown into men. And I figured that part of my life was done, was a thing of the past. And then it was just me on my own trying to figure something out. And then she literally walked into my life and everything shifted. And now we've got this amazing 8-year-old boy who makes me smile every single day. And we've got a home, we've got a dog, we're happy. And I'm happy. But I've become comfortable. So the move to Oregon is something that I'm actually starting to look forward to. At first, when she first brought up the idea, I was kind of against it. I was kind of like, I'm happy here. I'm good here. This is, where I moved to change my life, and my life changed for the better. So why would I want to leave? But then I had to look at it from her perspective because she's never left. She's lived here all her life. I mean, she's traveled and she's enjoyed her life, but there's nothing here challenging her. There's nothing here that has new energy. It just has old energy and old traumas and old memories. And so, I agreed to the trip because of that, and then fell in love with the whole area out there. It's just so beautiful and so magical. Um, so going back to the comfort zone, like that, we get into this space where we don't want to do anything extra because it's easier. And what that does is it affects our nervous system, so that our nervous system begins to crave familiarity. It begins to say to ourselves, don't do anything extra because this is where it feels good. This is where it's comfortable. This is where nothing changes, so we don't have to worry about anything. We're not taking any chances because we know this works. We know that this is a good life. And I'm not complaining about our lives because, quite honestly, we've got a goddamn good life, and it's better than a lot of people have. And I am very grateful for that. It is a good life, and it's become comfortable, and I can see where it could become stagnant. It could become just what you do. You get up, you take a shower, you make breakfast, you take your son to school, you do the shopping, you go home, you watch a show, you clean up a little bit, you go pick your son up from school, you make dinner, and then maybe you hang out for an hour or two, and then it's bedtime and you're back to sleep. And that's every single day. And even though I know there are people out there that would love to have that, it's reached a point where it's not enough. I need something more. I am literally craving in my soul something more. So there's a cost. There's a spiritual cost to staying still. Spiritual growth requires movement, even if it's small, scheduled steps. Something needs to be moving forward for your soul to continue its evolution. You cannot just float in the stagnant pond. You don't get anywhere. In order to not just live, but thrive, your very essence, your very being needs to be moving forward. It cannot just sit there, cannot just stay still. Your soul didn't come here to nap its way through enlightenment. Now, depending on what you believe, on soul contracts or reincarnation or any of that stuff, it's entirely possible that we came here to learn, and we came here to evolve, and we came here. I personally believe that we are here to get back to our original origin, our original essence that started with the original thought, the original idea that a lot of people call the Big Bang. To me, the Big Bang was a combination of physical things like the creation of stars and planets and meteors and all of that stuff, and then life, eventually, physical life. But I also believe that there's a spiritual side to that there's a soul side to that there was an original thought, there was an original idea that expanded so much that it exploded. And while that original idea still exists, each and every one of us are a manifestation of that original idea, which means we are that idea in form. We are that idea in spirit, in our essence. And our jobs are to get back to what we were, where we were at. And that's fucking hard to do when you've got this physical body, because we have day-to-day lives. We've created these societies. We have physical ailments from time to time. We have life and death and birth and all over again. But in the middle of all that, we've regained an awareness that we should be striving towards finding our way back. And when we become comfortable, when we fall into that zone of stagnation, we're literally stopping what we were meant to do. And so I hate to say the word lazy, but being lazy through it, where we just aren't moving forward, it literally goes against our very nature. And I don't mean our physical body nature, but our nature at a soul level, at a spiritual level, at an energetic level, at the very essence of who and what we really truly are. And it's a price to pay, because there may be contentment, there may even be happiness and the occasional joy, but there's so much more possible out there if we continue to move forward. And I believe that, waiting until it comes, waiting until it's time, is a myth. I believe that if we're doing that, we're just waiting in a cage. It's sort of like a dog waiting in its crate for its master to open it in the morning so it can go out and go pee and have some breakfast. We're waiting in a cage. And that's not good. That's not anything that really, truly on a soul level we should be doing. So what signs would show that you're actually stuck in safe mode? And there are some clear signs. Let's take a look at my cheat sheet here. One of them is you feel drained by the routine that you're in. You're still doing it. You're still able to get everything accomplished in a given day, but you feel drained by it. And it may be a physical draining. You may be tired all the time. You may be feeling so exhausted that you rationalize spending extra time on the couch or napping in the afternoon. And I'm not saying those things should never happen, and I'm not saying that taking a nap to rest your physical body is a bad idea, because it's not. It's good for you. But when it becomes all the time, when it becomes what you look forward to, I don't want to piss off the people out there that really look forward to their naps, because that's not what this is about. But when you're looking forward to sleeping, to checking out, more than you're looking forward to what can I do today to really brighten my life? What can I do today to really nurture my soul? That should be what we're looking forward to. That should be the thing that excites us. And when the opposite is true, you're stuck. You're being comfortable in a cage. When you find yourself daydreaming about things but not actually acting on those things, you're stuck. When you find yourself scrolling or watching TV or zoning out or just finding a way to numb yourself, you're stuck in a comfort zone. Sometimes you may even be irrationally irritable in an otherwise peaceful life. Snapping at your loved ones, being overly annoyed at someone cutting you off in traffic, waiting in line and at the grocery store and getting pissed off because somebody's counting out their change, or they have to wait for a price check. Jesus Christ, there are more important things to be worried about. And if maybe you're in a hurry, but in most cases you're not. In most cases, you're not. It's not going to matter if you have to wait an extra 60, 90 seconds to let somebody else do their thing. Or maybe you're hearing these inner urges. Maybe you're actually hearing everything I'm talking about, where inside you, you're going, I really should take a step towards X. I should see what I can do to make Y happen. Maybe I can take one step today that will move me forward. And then you hit the snooze button. Then you hit the button that says, I'll get back to that. And then you start to normalize it. It becomes part of your routine. And I want you to know that I'm not here to shame you. I'm not here to shame anybody, because if I were, I'd be ashamed of myself. What I'm here to do is to bring awareness to it, to make us aware, to give us a moment to think, and to actually motivate us to do something about it, to truly take just one small step. For me today, it's this podcast. For me today, it's saying, I need to talk about this. And when I get done with this podcast and I get done editing it and I publish it so that everybody else can hear it, then I'm going to come up with another step. I'm going to try to find something else that I can do to move myself forward. Right now, my wife is finishing up my website. So I want to get myself out there. I want to start my truth coaching practice again, because that I have stopped. I haven't done that for a few years. And I use the excuse that, well, I've got family now. I don't have a lot of time. I was working for a while, and I just didn't have time to do all that. But I don't have excuses, and I don't want excuses, and I don't need excuses. What I need is to get my butt moving, to get my ass off the couch, so to speak. I have a friend, Paul, who is a photographer, and he has this wonderful Facebook page called Getting Off the Couch. And he just goes out and takes pictures and does things, and it's a wonderful idea. And I should be doing that, and he should be doing that, and you should be doing that. So how do we take those steps? How do we shift it without creating chaos in our lives or without burning it all down? First thing you gotta remember is you don't have to blow up your life, okay? You need to breathe new frequency into it. So think of it as blowing up a bounce house, which is nearly impossible to do yourself without a machine. You don't need to put that kind of effort into adjusting things. It's more like giving yourself CPR. You're not dead, but you're quiet, you're comfortable, you're still, and you give yourself some small puffs, some small shifts. I call them micro shifts. Give yourself some micro shifts of breath so that you can start breathing on your own again. That's what it's really all about. And that's what this podcast is all about. To give you those little ideas, to give little sparks so that you can build your fire, so that you can breathe on your own, so that your heart can beat on its own, so that you can move forward on your own. Micro shifts, and you can do that to yourself. Little tiny steps are all it takes. And sometimes it's going to be hard to do that first step. Sometimes it's going to be, I sat in front of this computer, my laptop, I sat in front of this laptop for about 15 minutes before I actually hit record, because I was like, am I going to have enough to talk about? Am I going to go off on a tangent? And you know what? I realized I don't give a shit if I go off on a tangent, because I can stop, I can re-record, I can edit, I can do all that stuff. But until I actually start talking, none of that's going to matter anyway. It's all a bunch of bullshit. I sat here in front of the laptop with headphones on, in front of the microphone, And I might as well have been on the fucking couch until I hit record. That was my micro shift. So what can you do? You can start a new practice. You can start a meditation. You can start an afternoon walk or an evening walk. You can start exercising. You can start picking spiritual things to watch instead of boring, inane things that will give you no spiritual motivation whatsoever. Start something new today, whatever it is, something little. It doesn't have to be big. You don't have to say, oh, I'm going to go start exercising so that I can lose 40 pounds. That would be great if you need to, but it doesn't need to be that big of a commitment right now. Just something simple. After dinner, when I get done cleaning up the kitchen, I'm going to go outside for a 5-minute walk. Or I'm going to go outside and sit on the back porch and just look at trees. I'm not going to bring my phone. I'm not going to scroll. I'm not going to play Royal Kingdom or Bubble Burst or whatever it is you might play. Leave the phone aside and just sit and watch the trees. Sit and watch the wind through the trees. Sit and listen for the dogs in the neighborhood barking. Sit and watch the neighbor kids play. Not in a creepy way. But do something different. Make it something new that you can get your butt moving on. Just something little. Start saying yes to things that you aren't sure about. That's a big one. You just saying yes is the micro shift. Actually doing it might be a little bit bigger, but when was the last time somebody invited you to go to some small event or to go for a walk or to meet them at the park or to go to the movies and you just said no because you just didn't feel like putting on pants? You didn't feel like, leaving the TV because Survivor's on Wednesday night. I don't want to miss that. It's the season finale. Well, guess what? You can watch it on Thursday on Paramount Plus. Okay? Actually get up and do it. Call a friend, meet him for coffee. Go to the library. The library is an amazing place to explore. You have no idea what you might become interested in. Go walk down the aisles and pick up a random book and spend 5 minutes reading it. Just 5 minutes. And if it doesn't resonate with you, put it back where it goes and pick up a different book. Give it a try. It's a micro shift. Go to the farmer's market, poke around. Buy a vegetable you've never tried before. Talk to a stranger. Farmer's market is a great place to talk to a stranger because all the vendors want to talk to you. And everybody's kind of in a good mood there. You may not want to talk to a stranger at the supermarket. That's fine. You may not want to, walk around downtown and just try to strike up a conversation. I get it. It's really not as hard as you think, but I get it. So try something simple. Try something easy, something that you've not done before that's a little uncomfortable, but it's not going to be so uncomfortable that it stops you from doing it. The other thing you want to do is look inside. Spend some time in your own head and then speak a truth out loud. Whatever it might be. There's probably been times where you've said inside your head, you've thought to yourself, wow, I really need to get moving. I really need to go for a walk. I really need to stop eating cookies after supper. Say it out loud. Say it out loud and say it to somebody that you trust, a family member. Go to your spouse or your best friend or your kid and just say to them, can I say something out loud to you? I'm not looking for advice. I'm not looking for anything other than another person to hear me. I don't want to have a conversation about it necessarily. I don't want to start something. I don't want to offend anybody. And I don't want to be coached. I just want to say it out loud. I want somebody to say, I heard you. And then I want to be able to walk away if I want to. And then just say something to them. And then walk away if you want to. Or keep talking if you want to. Sometimes just opening your mouth gets you motivated into talking even longer. I'm a perfect example of that with this podcast episode. I thought I wasn't going to have anything to say. That is a silly thing for me to think, because I don't know if I've ever in my life not had anything to say, which is kind of why I do this. The other thing that can help you, and it's a simple change, is to change your surroundings. If you spend most of your time in the living room, get out of the living room. Spend some time in another room. Spend some time in the kitchen. Spend some time in the bedroom. Get out of your routine, you know? If you spend all your time inside the house, get your ass outside. Even sitting on the front porch with a cup of tea. You know, go outside. Get a lawn chair, sit in the front yard. Oh, no. When I was a kid, all the neighbors brought their lawn chairs out and sat in the front yard and watched traffic, waved at people. Cars honked when they drove by. I don't see people doing that anymore. Everybody's locked up inside their houses. Or maybe out back. Maybe sitting on the deck. But I don't see people outside anymore. Do that. Get a lawn chair, sit your ass in the middle of the front lawn, and just watch the world. You know, maybe your neighbor across the street will see you and say hi. Ooh, that's scary. That's uncomfortable. That's different. I don't know if I like that. That's my point. There's lots you can do. Lots of little steps. And if you're not sure of them, send me an email. Seriously. I'll give you a list. Okay? alignedafpodcast@gmail.com. Shoot me a line. I would love to chat with you. Hey, that could be a step. That could be a micro shift for you. Send me a message. I promise I'll respond. I promise I won't judge you. And maybe we'll have a good conversation, and who knows, maybe we'll become friends. And maybe not, and that's okay. But that's a micro shift. There are times where, I don't know how to put this without it sounding judgy. So I'm just going to say it from my own perspective. There have been times in my life, and I'm having one now, where I have been so stagnant, so still, so unmotivated to do anything, that I started feeling small. I started feeling smaller than my own life. And that's not good. That's not good at all. And if you're feeling that, if you have times where you feel like your life or the life outside of you is bigger than you, it's time. It's past time. Do something. Take a step. And maybe have a mantra. Maybe have, a meditation of some kind, or an affirmation that can help you. Something like, I honor my place of comfort, but I desire my soul to evolve. I'm going to go off on a tangent here, and I'm going to give you a gift. Several years ago, I went to a sound healing. Crystal bowls, didgeridoos, percussion equipment, all 9 yards. It was being performed by my friends Rasamai and Paradiso. I hope they don't mind me mentioning their names. I don't think they will. And it was an amazing event. It resonated through me so incredibly well. In fact, it resonated through me so well that somebody I worked with was walking by me the next day and then stopped and backed up and looked at me and said, "Why are you vibrating?" Literally, I was high as a fucking kite after this event. And somebody outside of my body recognized that I was buzzing. And what happened was Rasamaya was playing the crystal bowls. Paradiso was playing the didgeridoo. And Rasamaya started singing a song. And I'm not going to sing. Nobody wants to hear that. Maybe that can be my micro shift. Okay, maybe I should sing. Yeah, no, I'm not ready for that today. I believe me, you're not ready to hear it. But the lyrics of the song were, I am, you are, God is, you are, I am. And that really like resonated with me on the inside. It really hit me deep, deep, deep. And I started using that in my meditation, and it started to shift. It started to become more than what it was when I heard it. And so I reached out to Rasamaya and Paradiso and I said, look, what you did, what you sang really, really affected me. And I would like your permission to dig deeper on this because it's your song, but it's really opening me up, and I want your permission to work with it and evolve it in some way for myself. And they were more than they were like, please, the stuff that we do is for everyone. It belongs to you when you hear it, and please feel free to move forward with it. So I did. And as I was meditating, I realized that, I would repeat over and over again, I am, you are, God is, you are, I am. And I realized that there was something missing in the middle. Something was missing for me in between the words. So it was I am, pause, you are. There was something in the pause. There was something in the middle of all that. And what I realized was there was a way to connect it that made so much sense to me. And I shifted it into I am you. You are God. God is you. You are I am. And I started using that as a mantra all the time. And the English majors out there, please, I know that you are I is not proper, but on a soul level it is. On a soul level, it is absolutely fucking perfect. And I started working with that. And then even more became of it. I started to form it into a word, a chant. And it became a word that I created, or that created itself through me. It became Ayagayeya. It was the first letter of each word. I am, you are, God is, you are, I am. So it was Ayagayiaya. And when you look at it together, it's Ayagayeya. And I started using that as my mantra, as my chant. And it really helped me connect with everything. It really helped me to realize that not only am I, but I am you, because you are. And inside you, you say, I am. But we are each other in that spiritual energy sense. And we are also from that original idea, which so many people call God. So if God is, and I am, and you are, then we have to be God. And that connection became Ayagaea. And so one night, I was sitting with my friend Marcy at our apartment, and Marcy is this amazing musician, this spiritual goddess that on her own is an amazing musician, but the spirituality of her music just resonates. And that's what she does for a living. She travels the country performing spiritual music and writing songs. She has music on Spotify. She has CDs, or I guess it's digital now. I don't know. I'm 63. And I said to her, I've been working with this mantra, and I was wondering if maybe between the two of us, we could create some sort of singing mantra, some sort of, if not a full song, but a chant of some kind. And she was very open to giving it a shot. And I wanna play it for you just real quick. It's not very long, and she's got a beautiful voice. Now, if you're driving and you want to pull over and just close your eyes and listen, that'd be a good idea. Don't go into a meditation while you're driving. But take a moment, and if you are in a safe space, close your eyes and just listen to it just for a minute, okay? Here we go.
1, 2.
So that was Marcy Baruch. And my wife was singing with her. I was drumming because I don't sing very well. And of course, you heard my little guy kind of sneak in there near the end. I think he was like, I don't know, 2 at the time. It might have been like 6 years ago. But I use that now. And when I'm alone, I sing it. And feel free to use that if you want to. Just pause, just breathe, just give your life some thought, and find those places. Be honest with yourself, and find those places where you're just so comfortable that things have become a little stagnant. No judgment. Don't pick on yourself. Don't be ashamed of yourself. Don't worry that it's happened. Just start now, start finding a way to put that spark in your life, that spark that says, I don't have to be comfortable to be happy. sometimes being uncomfortable is the road to the real joy. Nothing's ever changed by being comfortable. Nothing's ever moved forward by being comfortable. And that includes us. That includes you. That includes me. So, thank you for joining me today in the comfort zone. If this stirred something in you, maybe thought you'd rethink your cozy spot, your corner, I'd love to hear from you. Seriously, I would love to have you reach out and talk to me. And it may be, hey, I'm stuck. Can you maybe talk to me about this? Or maybe it's, hey, I took a small step today. You know, I found something that I could move forward with. I would love to hear your successes. Love it. Please, 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 if you know someone that is maybe a little stuck, don't judge them. Just share this with them. You know, ask them to listen to it. Ask them to share honestly if they can. Try to support each other through all of this. Be kind to yourself. Don't judge yourself for where you're at right now. Just know that maybe today's the day where you take one step towards getting out of that comfort zone and heading towards your spiritual evolution. Okay? Again, that's going to wrap it up for today. I remind everybody that the information and the ideas shared on this episode, on this podcast, are mine from my own experience or from the experience of people I know. And I am not a doctor. I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a medical professional of any kind. So if you feel like you are in a tough spot, and any of this resonates with you, I also recommend, reaching out to professionals if it's a little heavy, if it's a little too much for you. It won't hurt, I've done my share of therapy, and I probably will again. And that's okay. It's talking to somebody helps. Feel free to reach out to me. alignedafpodcast@gmail.com. I'll leave it in the outro so that you can pause it and write it down if you want to. Please, 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 if you watch me on YouTube, like and subscribe, because that helps me reach more people. The more likes and the more subscribes I get, the more YouTube pushes it out there. And the same on whatever podcast platform you're listening to. Like it, subscribe to it, leave comments on it, text me, email me, whatever it might be. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear your feedback, even if you think it will make me uncomfortable. That's okay. That's what life is all about. So, thank you. I love you. I'm happy to be talking to you again, and I hope you will continue to stick around, and I hope you will share this with someone you care about. And until then, remember that every single day you're getting closer to Aligned AF, and that's where the fun is. Take care. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today. If this episode spoke to you at all, share it with a friend or someone who needs it. You can also leave a review or connect with me online. You can find Aligned AF on YouTube, Facebook, your favorite podcast channel, or at alignedaf.org. And if you want to reach out directly, you can email me at alignedafpodcast@gmail.com. So until next time, Stay aligned AF.